Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to tackle a beautiful and powerful theological concept, the imputed righteousness of Jesus. Now, if you've ever heard the term imputed righteousness and thought, wait, what does that mean exactly? Don't worry, you're not alone. It's one of those concepts that's foundational to Christian faith, but it can also feel a bit heavy when you first encounter it. So, let's break it down. The imputed righteousness of Jesus is the idea that, because of what Jesus did through his perfect life, his death on the cross, and his resurrection, his righteousness, his perfection, is credited to us. In simpler terms, Jesus took on our sin, and in exchange, we are given his righteousness. It's a divine exchange, our brokenness for his perfection. This is key because in our own strength, none of us can meet the standard of righteousness that God requires. Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." That means we are all separated from God because of sin. But here's the good news. In 2 Corinthians 5:21, Paul writes, "God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." Think about that for a moment. Jesus, who lived a sinless life, became sin for us. He took on the full penalty of sin, the punishment we deserved. But he didn't just stop there. He also gave us his righteousness, meaning that when God looks at us, he sees the perfect righteousness of Jesus covering us, as though we've lived that perfect life. This is what it means to be justified, to be declared righteous before God. So, why does this matter so much? Because it means our standing before God isn't based on our performance, our good works, or how well we follow the rules. Our standing is entirely based on Jesus' perfect work. We can't earn it, and we don't deserve it, but it's given to us freely through faith. That's why the doctrine of imputed righteousness is so central to the gospel. It's not about us trying to become righteous on our own. It's about receiving the righteousness of Christ as a gift. And here's where this hits home. Because of imputed righteousness, we don't have to live in fear, wondering if we're ever good enough for God. In Christ, we are good enough, because he is good enough. That should bring us incredible peace and confidence in our relationship with God. At the same time, this truth motivates us to live differently, not to earn God's love, but in response to it. When we know we've been given such a priceless gift, we want to live in a way that honors the one who gave it to us. It's a beautiful cycle of grace. Receiving, being transformed, and living out of that transformation. So, that's a quick overview of the imputed righteousness of Jesus. It's a concept that's deep, but also incredibly freeing when we understand it. I hope this gives you a better grasp of what it means for you personally, and I encourage you to dive deeper into the scriptures to see how God's grace has been poured out through Christ. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or thoughts about this topic, drop them in the comments below. And if this was helpful, be sure to share it with someone who might need to hear it too. See you next time.